How are you? For real, how are you? This question has been so used of some sort of greeting like good morning, how are you okay? This question, though is so powerful in its literal meaning, has lost its meaning because of how it has been used. In every language, you can greet someone asking the other, how are you? But you ask without wanting an answer, just because you're being polite. But there's a great power in this question, not only in asking how the other person is, but we are going to explore some different sides to this question. Let's understand the literal meaning of it. How are you? It is important for you, time to time, to reflect and look within and notice how you really are. How am I? In all senses, because this question involves your health. Physically, I'm well. Maybe this is your answer. Maybe you would say, physically, I'm well, but emotionally, I'm not well. Maybe you are sad, angry, deeply sad, frustrated, with anger. Maybe physically you are well, but the soul is sick. So it is important for you to self-diagnose so that you may know how you are emotionally, physically, spiritually. How are you, spiritually speaking? I know that this question is the one that is most feared by some. What if I die now? When they think like this, what if I died now? How is my soul? Many don't even want to go deeper in this topic. They are afraid of the answer. But it is the most important question, because all that we go through in life, it passes. But the soul is eternal, and we all must be checking the health of our soul, its well-being, how it is before God, before the world, before people. So when you go deeper into this question, how am I? Then you identify where you need to place more attention in your life. What is missing for you to have a deeper care? So dealing with this is the first step for you to become well. Because at times you're not well, sad, unhappy, and you not even know the reason why. But there's a root, there's a reason why for you not to be feeling well. So how am I? For real. You don't need necessarily to go out there telling people. But you must look within and speak to God about it. And seek for help, at least spiritual help, for you to solve these problems. If it is a health problem, you need to treat it. If it is an emotional problem, you need to solve the sources of these emotions. What are you feeling? Are you feeling sad? Why? Angry? Why? With grudges? Why? You need to go to the root. And the root is the soul, the spirit. So you need to treat this matter. Your spiritual condition. Do you feel not well? Distant from God? You don't pray? It's been a while you don't read the Bible or go to church? You became very materialistic in the material realm, ignoring your soul. You must prioritize your soul. What is the profit for a man to ignore his soul and lose it? So this question reveals, it brings the diagnosis of your life and where you should focus on. This is the first point, the most important one. How are you? For real? How am I? Ask yourself this question. take a few minutes. This question is better raised not while you have your phone in hands or in a noisy environment or something else happening around you. This question is better raised when you are in a place that no one can disturb you and you take some moments to look within yourself. This is so important. I know that some run from silence. They run away from it. They don't realize that they fill in every minute of the time that they are awake with some noise, whether a song, a video, news, TV on, radio on. They're always filling the silence of their day with some noise. In other words, there's no time to think, to reflect, and we need silence to listen to God's voice. So raise yourself this question in a moment of silence, even if it's just 10 minutes. 10 minutes to listen to God's voice and ask yourself this question: how am I for real? You will be surprised with the answer, and it will be revealing where you need to focus on, because perhaps you are putting your efforts in the wrong place. You are seeking something that will not solve the main problem in your life. So try this out. How are you? How am I? This question is so powerful. And I know that we already have lots of work if we have this question made to ourselves. But as I said, there are many sides to this question. If you ask the closest person to you with sincerity, if you prepare a moment, make the most of a moment that the other person is not busy, if you can sit down, look in their eyes, and ask them, how are you? Most probably, they will answer the usual. It's all okay. What do you mean? Right? No one is used to answering this question literally. They'll say, I'm okay. Stop with this. What do you mean? Do you think I have a problem? And it can even make the person defensive. But if you make it not in a judgment moment, but show a sincere concern with their well-being, whether your mother, your child, your spouse, your sibling, whoever it may be, a friend at work, because sometimes you're working every day with your friend and you don't know the personal hell that person is going through in life. And at times, we learn in the worst way. At work, at school, somewhere that we attend, we receive the unfortunate news that someone committed suicide. Am I right? This question is powerful. When you raise it with sincerity and with a genuine interest in the well-being of that person, and if the person notices this sincerity in your heart, they'll open up to you in a way that they've never done before, and you'll be used by God to help that person and to save their soul. So try this. If at some moment you realize, or if you are touched by God Himself to do it, especially with the closest person to you, beginning in the house. Because often we think that everything's well in the house and we only limit to the functional dialogue, just for logistics, what we have to eat if you paid that bill. We forget to take care of the one who is closest to us. So to ask someone who is close to you, for you to see how the world is, which is quite important, for you to ask this question in a general way. You're not going to ask the world, of course, but you're going to look at the world and evaluate how it is today. this year, this century, this month, today, how is the world? Where is the world leading itself? This question helps us to reflect about our spiritual life too, because unfortunately, the world this year is worse than the previous one, and is worse than the previous one, and it will be like this. We are getting closer to the end, and each year, each day, it gets worse. There are many promises of improvement, of good things, on the one hand, but on the other hand, there are worse things that spoil the good news. So it is important for us to be attentive to what is happening in the world, how the world is, and the world is getting worse. Which leads us even closer to God, because literally we don't know what will happen tomorrow. No, today, we don't know what will happen today. Anything can happen. Now we always can rest in the following fact, that we never need to ask God, how is He? It is quite interesting. Why? Because God does not change. We ask that person how they are because that person is subject to changes, to what happens around them, subject to good or bad news, failure, success. We humans, we change. The world changes all the time, but God does not change. The text says, because I, the Lord, do not change. James 1:17, it says that there's no variation in God or shadow of turning. So to ask God how He is redundant. And it is because we don't need to ask Him how He is that we can trust that He's always with us. He's always present. He's always available because He does not change. He's always the same. So He's always ready to listen to our cry out. And in this, we can trust. In this fact, we can draw comfort and be well because we are leaning our lives, of course, those who do, those who lean their lives on Him, we are leaning on something immutable. God does not need to answer this question, how are you? Never. He's always the same. He will never change. As Psalm 139 says, indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. God changes in nothing. Here's a tip for you. For you to have some of this power, this understanding that God does not change, here is a task for you later, for you to meditate on Psalm 139. Read slowly, taking your time. Psalm 139. And don't forget this fact, this truth. We never need to ask God how He is because He's always there and we always can count on Him. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.